This is the guy. If you don't know something about shaving, chances are he can help you out. You probably know him as Mantic59. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Hero.
I'll be talking about a lot of concepts that really apply to shaving with just about anything, and show you how to get a better shave with whatever you're using, and maybe learn to upgrade your shave as well. And in the meantime, maybe get a thought in your head to appreciate sort of the connection that traditional shaving can give you. Maybe that 10 or 15 or 20 minutes in the morning is your you time, where you can relax, concentrate on something, and get ready for the day. Maybe for some of you it's a connection to the past with family. Maybe for some of you it's just the feeling, the kind of the zen or even hedonistic enjoyment of it. But one of the things to keep in mind is shaving should not be a painful or difficult chore. If you're going to do it every day, make it into something pleasant. So hopefully I can give you an idea of, no matter how you shave, to make it a more pleasant activity. And besides that, particularly with traditional DE shaving, there's sort of kind of a badass attitude about it. I mean, to your friends, it's like, oh wow, how did you do that? Or and straight shaving as well. I mean, you look at your friends and peers and work, and the people you work with, and how many of them do something like this? Probably not a whole lot. And when they see you doing something like this, I bet there's some jealousy going on. And you can even tell them it's saving you money. Shaving you money too. Saving money. Because the typical cartridge is what? $3 a cartridge, thereabouts. They're getting higher all the time. The typical DE blade is, 50 cents out of the CVS across the street. Or in bulk, you can get them under 20 cents a piece. So you're saving yourself a ton of money. And save that money for other things related to your shave, and then eventually you're going to hit over that crossover point where you've got your return on investment and you're actually saving money the whole time. And finally, there is an element of, I guess I'd call it being friendly with the environment. You don't have so much plastic to throw out. You've got no cans of stuff to throw out. You're building your own lather out of a soap, which essentially goes away, or maybe a tube of cream, where you have much less. And a slot in the medicine cabinet, that's right. Or, if you don't have a slot in the medicine cabinet, after my talk, come in and get one of these. This is a piggy bank. Put your used razor blades in the piggy bank. And then after it fills up, you get rid of it. So after my talk and demonstration, feel free to come up. I've got little doodads, squirt guns, fans. If anybody works in a building and you're in a cubicle, I've got little cubicle clips where you stick it on the wall and you can clip papers to it, and all sorts of little stuff like that. So without too much further ado, let me go into a little more into some of the tools of the trade, if you will. Obviously, one of the more visible, though not necessarily the most important parts of shaving is the razor. Obviously, you've got a straight razor, a DE, a cartridge razor, up to the fusions, and they're all can be appropriate depending on what you want out of the shave. It's not that difficult to use a fusion with a pivot and go to town on your face and get done relatively quickly. And if you can do that without getting a lot of razor burn or ingones, more power to you. If you want to spend the money, fine. Just use the correct techniques for it, which I'll be getting into. Then, of course, there's a DE, which is what I normally use, a double-edged razor, the classic safety razor from your grandfather's day or your father's day. And there are a number of factors with that as well. There's open comb designs where you see the little teeth on the edge of the blade. There are butterfly open doors. There are two-piece, three-piece razors. There are adjustable razors. But again, I think the most important thing to think about is to find the combination that works best for you. If that happens to be a pivot razor that can adjust to the contours of your face and you don't mind paying the money, go ahead and use it. If you want to kind of customize your shave a little more, going from that automatic transmission razor, if you will, to a stick shift razor, then maybe a DE is for you. And then, of course, if you're a person like Lynn Abrams, you not only use a sports car, you build the sports car yourself and maintain it yourself, and you get yourself the most customized shave possible. Another, probably more important feature of a traditional shave is the brush. That is a real key to getting a good lather, getting water on your face, which is really what does the heavy lifting in your shave, is water. And getting that lather to stabilize the water on your face. So there are a number of different kinds of brushes. You can, again, go across the street to CVS and get yourself a $6 Bohr brush. It may not last very long, it may not make very good lather, but it'll get you going. Then there are other types of brushes as well. If you are concerned about the use of animals, there are synthetic brushes, or there are horsehair brushes just coming on the market. Coming back on the market, I guess I should say. They were actually very prevalent before the First World War, and then there was an anthrax outbreak, and people stopped using horsehair brushes. Well, obviously the cleanliness has gotten a lot better, and horsehair brushes are just now coming back on the market after about 100 years. But horsehair and synthetic don't do any damage to the animal, whereas a boar or a badger, those animals are harvested for their meat and hair. So if you have any concerns about that, bear that in mind. Be that as it may, the brush is really the key to making a good lather and getting that lather on your face and getting yourself a good shave. And there are a number of excellent, excellent wet shaving products that you've seen here tonight at the various vendors that do a terrific job of hydrating with water, using a brush to apply to your face for a really terrific shave. Or if you're a woman, maybe you're not going to apply to it to your face, but you know what I mean. And soaps and creams may have their advantages and disadvantages to the person, but it's largely personal preference. If I've got both, I've got a shelf full of soaps and creams, and it just kind of depends on my mood of the day, depending on what I want to use. So you've gotten your gear. Let's talk about the technique of shaving and what you should really keep in mind no matter what you're doing. First, you want to understand how your face, or where you're going to shave, grows and how the hair grows. This is commonly called to as the grain, and it's basically understanding the directions that your hair grows in. This is really important if you are using a cartridge razor, a multi-blade cartridge razor that kind of does the yank and hack job on your face. With DE razors, it is a little less important. You can sneak by with doing some things that I'll show you. But if you're using a cartridge razor, really important to know the grain of your face and to follow that grain, at least initially, with your razor. And there are a number of ways to discover that too. You can look in the mirror, let it grow out a little bit, and just feel around. Put your hand in a circle, and you'll feel one direction feels smoother than another direction. Well, the smooth direction is the grain of your beard. So it may not be the same direction everywhere either. For example, mine basically goes from this way across to this way, which is different from a lot of people. But understanding that is really important to getting a good shave, because the other really important factor is the concept of beard reduction. You don't want to try and whip off your beard in one fell swoop all at once. You want to reduce it in stages. It's going to grow back anyway, so why try and take it off quickly? The object is to take it off in a comfortable way, in a managed way that gets you as close as you want to get, which can be very close indeed, in a way that's comfortable and safe and doesn't give you nearly the opportunity for an ingrown hair or razor burn or things like that. So along with those two items is also the concept of using the facets, the flat parts of your face, or we're going to shave, as a guide to how you're shaving. You want to treat your face like a diamond and shave just along the smooth sides. Don't try and go around edges. Yes, a cartridge razor with a pivot can help you with that, but ideally you want to manage your shave in such a way where you are, again, reducing the stubble in a flat manner so everything's taken off consistently. Some people here, particularly some of the speakers earlier tonight talked about stretching the skin. That is definitely very important for straight razor shaving. I think there's, in my own opinion, there's kind of a difference here when it comes to cartridge razors or DEs and stretching. I think you don't really want to stretch your skin as much as you want to flatten your skin. Because if you overstretch with a DE or cartridge razor, you are just setting yourself up for ingrown hairs. But on the other hand, if you are just pulling it taut enough to flatten the area, again, you get that nice, consistent cut. Also, I should point out that in the case of modern razors, they will even have skin pretensioning fins, the little fins you may see on the bottom of a razor cartridge, that kind of partly do this for you. So, again, bear that in mind. Stretching may not be as important as flattening. Lynn's looking at me kind of weird. What do you think? Maybe? Okay, you're good with that. Okay, cool. All right. Another thing I would like to mention regarding shaving in general is the time for shaving. Generally speaking, there are two good times for shaving. About 20 minutes after you get up in the morning, but before you eat, or just before you go to bed. Why? People have told me it's in the morning case, you want to wait at least 20 minutes or so to let the blood flow return to normal from lying down and get kind of the puffiness out of your face. And before you eat, because then your jaw muscles are using and you're returning blood flow to that area anyway. I'm not sure if I go for that scientific kind of answer, but it seems to work. It worked for me, so that's something to think about. Other people just do it before they go to bed because it's a good time to do it, and there's some time to spend for themselves, and they look fine throughout the next day's workday. So there's that section as well. Before you shave, I know a lot of companies sell pre-shave oils that a lot of people love. In my own personal case, I think a better way to think about it is you want to prepare your skin for the shave, and maybe that best way is to really make sure your skin and hair is absolutely fully hydrated with warm water rather than using a pre-shave oil. The pre-shave oil will definitely work. It'll definitely give you additional lubrication for your razor, but it doesn't do a whole lot for the actual cutting of the skin. What you want to do is fully hydrate your skin and hair, and particularly in this case of using warm water, that'll ease out the stubble a tiny bit, almost like the yank and hack razor blade will, but this does it naturally. It eases it out of the skin for an easier cut. Then after your shave and your face cools off again, the hair retracts normally back into the follicle, and you don't get nearly as a chance for ingrown hairs. Two things actually related are razor pressure and razor angle. Now, in the case of angle, using a cartridge, the angle's already set for you. So you're kind of going with the manufacturer's idea of what the perfect angle might be. If you're using a DE, you have the ability to adjust that angle throughout your shave, and again, kind of customize it to where you might be able to go a little more harshly, a little more aggressively on one part, and a little more gently, a little more softly on another part. Along with that is the concept of pressure. You absolutely want to use as little pressure as possible when you shave, even with a cartridge razor. Part of the reason that there are pivots on those cartridge razors is to partially make up for the very common human trait, I guess, of bearing down on your skin. That's why the fusion works with so many people, is not because of the 5 blades themselves, but the combination of the engineering of the razor head and the pivot point are compensating for putting too much pressure. You can do that yourself simply by remembering not to put too much pressure on the razor. If you've got a cartridge razor like a Fusion or a Mach 3, one easy solution to that is just hold the razor by the bottom of the handle. That will force you to use a very light amount of pressure. You will find that if you can cultivate a lack of pressure, just using, as a lot of people say, just using the weight of the razor, do all the cutting, you will find that even with a cartridge razor, your shaves will be much more productive, much more successful. And finally, I think in the case of particularly a DE razor, locking the wrist when you shave is very useful for maintaining those blade angles and the pressure, lack of pressure on the flat part of the face or wherever you're going to shave. It's a little less important with a cartridge razor with a pivot because, again, if you do manage to move your wrist some, the pivot can partially compensate for that. But again, keeping your wrist locked and using your arm as a unit, where you'll be able to maneuver your razor in a much more consistent manner.